Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest. Let's try to knock this intro out in less than 4 freaking minutes. I'm Jackie Cation, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com. Those are the websites. Let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg sang and composed the song you just heard. He'll sing again his words to the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Sarah Cohen sings with him. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio. Vilmos does my website, JackieCation.com. There are many ways to support the show. Basic one, PayPal button. You click on it, you send me some money. Good for you. There's also, you can Venmo me at JackieCation.com. You can use the Amazon banner. There's a link on JackieCation.com and DorkForest.com that sends you to Amazon. You just order like normal. Doesn't cost you extra. It's just a way to support the show. Another way is to get merch. JackieCation.com has a merch page. A lot of Dork Forest stuff, a lot of stand-up comedy stuff. Also on the website, stand-up comedy calendar tells you where I'm going to be. This week I'm going to be back in Phoenix at the Bird Comedy Festival. That's right, Phoenix, Arizona, 29th through, I believe, the 31st of March, doing stand-up comedy. Go to the Phoenix Bird Festival in Phoenix and come and see me do comedy. There's premium episodes. The premium episodes are at thedorkforest.bandcamp.com, and they cost $2 a pop. The YouTube page is hopping. There's a YouTube page that has essentially the teaser clips and the full episodes now. And if you can't get iTunes or whatever at work, you can listen to the show in the background on YouTube. Let's get into the show. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my stateroom on the JoCo cruise, you guys. Again, and yet. And this fellow performer, Greg Benson, welcome to the program at the Dork Forest.
Oh, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here.
It will be a delight for us to discuss. We were going to discuss James Taylor. We may get to him. But what I liked is you were like, horrible movies I love.
Yeah, I am obsessed with really bad movies.
So people should know, Greg Benson has a YouTube, essentially, channel.
Not even essentially.
It's actually.
It is a YouTube channel.
It's called a YouTube channel, you guys. I might not be super young. I may not be.
Like having a conversation with my grandma.
This will not be the first time you think that in the next hour, Greg Benson. So you can go to @MediocreFilms, by the way, which is the Twitter and Facebook pages for it. But the YouTube page is youtube.com/MediocreFilms.
That is correct.
And they are humorous films done by yourself.
I certainly hope so.
There we go. That's the goal.
They are humorous films. I certainly hope they are done by myself.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. This is not a lateral move. All being done by Greg Benson, you guys. So because I think everybody, you have some favorites is there a favorite horrible genre?
No, it's just, to me, a really bad movie is a winner. And what makes a really bad movie funny is if they attempt for it to be a serious movie.
Something earnestly trying to be, oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it can't be a comedy. Like, I haven't even seen Sharknado. I'm not interested in something that's intentionally campy.
Right.
Although I will eventually see Sharknado because you have to. And they've made like 16 of them so far. Well,
and it's not that you don't enjoy good movies.
Oh, I do love good movies.
And it's not that you don't enjoy movies that are ironically, like, know that they're bad. Are there movies that you're like, oh, I see what you've done there, and I am enjoying this?
Yeah, but really, so
like
much.
Animal House.
Oh well, Animal House. Animal House, I love. I think it's classic comedy. Like I have no issues at all with Animal House. Now, Caddyshack is another classic comedy that I adore, but it's a terrible movie in its own way. Just from a filmmaking standpoint, it's a very sloppy movie. But it's hilarious. And I put it right up there with Animal House as one of the best comedies of all time.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Good to know.
But then again, I'm a child of the 70s, so I love 70s and 80s movies.
Right. My one of my older brothers thinks that Animal House is some sort of tour de force of comedy.
I would agree.
Right. But I think that you and my brother might be the same guy.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, it's one of those movies that was not made for me. It was made for the 14 to 34-year-old demographic, dude bro
Yeah.
in 1977. So if you were 14 in 1977 or 34 or somewhere in that age bracket, which is what my brother was, you're psyched. This is the greatest.
To kind of back away just a little bit and give Animal House its due and its respect. It really began a genre. There really was not the wacky college comedy before Animal House. It really started its own thing, and not only that, but when you watch,
maybe it's the Star Wars of wacky comedies.
When you watch Animal House now, and it's funny that we're talking about that when we start off saying we're going to talk about bad movies,
but this is not it. This is not a bad movie. Yes,
it's a good movie, and even the music. The music is by Elmer Bernstein. He's got this classic, amazing score.
Elmer Bernstein is one of. I want him to have the Bernstein Bears. Who's Elmer Bernstein? Is he a famous composer?
He is. He did a lot of.
Remember, you're talking to your great aunt.
Now, by the way, I just want to say,
yes,
I'm 99% sure that Elmer Bernstein did the score to Animal House. But we're on a cruise ship,
in a boat.
I can't do. We have no Wi-Fi.
There's no Wi-Fi.
I can't do any research here, so
right.
I'm probably going to get a lot of.
You could get Jackie at JackieCation. Please address me. Just go deep. Go several paragraphs into who Elmer Bernstein is. Todd, hook me up.
I look forward to all the complaints that come in about all the facts that I got wrong.
Rangers don't complain. What they do is they let me know that there's an error that has been made.
Yeah.
And God bless them for it, because I am actually interested if there's an error that I'm like, oh, good to know. I may not remember what that error was or what it all means, but it is good to know for that shining moment when I have been alerted.
It sounds much more constructive than YouTube comments, which really just tell you to fuck off and die. Am I allowed to curse? Can I say fuck off on this?
You can say fuck off and die on this. Wait.
Okay.
Yes, I say yes. But here's my thing, Greg Benson. So all of your videos on mediocre films, the comments are turned on?
Yes, they are.
Good
but
for you.
YouTube has a wonderful feature that I recommend to anyone who makes YouTube videos, and that is that you can go right into those community settings and you can list a bunch of words that you want automatically banned from the comments. So if you don't want to see the N-word, and if you don't want to see the word Trump, or if anything that you pick,
the word cunt.
Anything, yes.
Yes.
You just list them all with a comma in between them, and those comments will not appear.
Excellent.
They will just not appear.
Community settings.
You can even do
Is that under
phrases.
advanced?
It's just under.
Might be.
I don't know.
Just look around.
Yeah, look around.
You know what? I bet
see
you there's a
community
YouTube
settings.
tutorial of how to use the community settings on YouTube.
It's pretty self-explanatory as long as you can find it. yeah. You just and my list of words continues to get larger and larger, every month.
Right, because some people are tricksy with their grumpiness.
They're also tricksy with their spelling.
Oh.
They might spell the N-word with one G, and you're like, well, now I have to put that in there.
That's a country. You've dropped the ball, racist banana head.
Yep. They might spell faggot with one G, and so I got to go, okay, well, I got to change that. Or they might do two T's. They'll mix it up. So
that's a piece of wood. That's a piece of wood, you guys.
Yeah. And I don't want people talking about wood on my videos.
Stacked wood. That's a dick joke.
Let's talk about bad movies. Can I let you know just the basic reason why I love bad movies?
Yes.
Because I get so much joy out of when it's obvious that filmmakers have tried to make something great.
Yes.
And they are serious. They really have tried hard to make a film that they're proud of, and they failed dramatically. There's kind of nothing more fun than enjoying someone else's failure when it hasn't ruined their life.
Right. Well, how could it have ruined their life? But the joy of essentially you tried really hard, but this didn't go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's an example of such a film?
Showgirls. Showgirls is a prime example of
I thought it was supposed to be bad. No.
Showgirls is I might get some details wrong. As far as I remember, it was directed by Paul Verhoeven, very serious director, written by Joe Esterhazy, an extraordinarily well-paid, let's just say probably the most overpaid, overhyped writer in Hollywood.
Especially when Showgirls came out.
Oh, yeah.
is Showgirl? Is it
Showgirls
is it
is
strip?
a drama.
It's a drama
About dancers in Vegas. They are showgirls, if you will.
Vegas dancers.
And it's specifically about, this one girl who, I think she hitchhikes her way to town, and she comes in and things just go wrong. And she has to overcome the obstacles.
How could you think that wasn't going to be melodrama?
It's very melodramatic. It's also a big budget film, and that's another reason. That's another reason.
That's a criteria?
To enjoy it. It doesn't have to be. No, plenty of my favorite,
are not.
Films they're almost no budget whatsoever.
But I love the idea of a big budget failure because a lot of people were thought to themselves, "Oh, this is going to be huge."
Yeah, you got a very expensive writer and director, and they've pitched to a huge studio, and it's gone through all these executives, and they're like, "Yeah, this is going to be a big movie." This is the one, and then everybody fails. There's a commentary on the special edition of Showgirls, which of course we have. Showgirls is also my wife's favorite movie.
Okay.
So I married the right woman, my wife, Kim Evey.
Very beautiful.
Thank you. She is, which is why I married her.
Right.
But she loves Showgirls.
Yep.
And I remember I saw it for the first time when we started dating, which was 16 years ago, I believe, 17 years ago.
Sure.
It was a remarkable experience. To see it and enjoy it for the first time. I recommend always watching bad movies with friends.
Okay.
Much more fun than watching them alone.
Right. Well, for sure.
If you're a drinker, you make drinking games out of them. Showgirls to have a drink every time you see tits on the screen. Because
it's super booby?
Sure. Well, of course.
Why wouldn't it be? Vegas dancers.
Yeah, it's way overly booby.
See, here's the thing. Here's where I must query.
Yeah.
Here's my query on the Showgirls and the fact that they thought that they were making. What did they think that they were making? What movie is great about Showgirls? I mean, what movie did they think they were making?
I think that they were making a movie kind of like The
Godfather,
Flashdance, or something like. What's the one about the high school, high school that's a performing,
Fame.
Fame. I think that they were making something kind of along the lines of Fame, of all about the struggle and creative freedom, and
a chorus line.
Yeah, and like you're really rooting for the protagonist, and all these things get in their way, and they have to overcome.
I'm always confused by Fame and a chorus line as well, because I don't always get things. But here's the thing about like a chorus line was melodrama as well. Critically acclaimed, though. People love a chorus line. And I was always like, because I'm a comic, I always thought, yeah, shit's going to happen. It's not going to work out. Anyway, keep going. And so, but with Vegas Showgirls.
Yeah.
So were there famous people in this movie?
Yeah, well, the lead actress,
cast?
whose name I can't remember right now, but I'm sure that your listeners will tell you.
They might.
She was known from the cast of that kid's high school show.
High School Musical?
Oh, I can't remember now.
Was it Zac Efron?
That's what we
with
have.
With coconuts?
That's what we have with this. There's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah. It's there might be a lot of that.
Head of the class. No, that's not it. It's So it's that that high school show for high school kids. Yeah, so she was on that, and she played apparently a very squeaky clean character, and she wanted to branch out and stretch.
Oh, she wanted to be considered a real adult, probably.
Yeah, and she wanted to do something that was sexy, and it's kind of like when Miley Cyrus went from being a little Disney girl, and she wanted to be all sexy.
Harry Potter dropped trowel on Broadway.
Absolutely.
I remember it.
Who hasn't? And dropped trowel on Broadway.
Exactly.
I just mean the street.
Just the street, and just because you had to pee. So Showgirls.
Yeah.
It's let's get into the nitty gritty. It's an hour and a half. It's an hour and a half movie.
Most of these are around an hour and a half.
Right. That's where they clock in around.
Yeah.
And the music was.
It's not a musical.
It isn't.
No, there is music in it, and Kyle MacLachlan is in it, and there's something that's sort of musical about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Kyle MacLachlan, from Twin Peaks.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, he's terrific. He gets a lap dance, and he jizzes in his pants in the movie, which is
That's
just
good,
wonderful.
That's just good writing. I mean, how do they do it?
Here you go, Joe Esterhaz. Here's your $7 million or whatever they paid you for writing that script.
So this is the drama. Do you ever think to yourself, and sometimes I do, when I think about bad movies like a Showgirls kind of movie, that there is essentially, Esterhaz, let me guess, 45-year-old white guy.
Probably.
When he wrote this movie. Thinking to himself, you know what's a compelling story? Is when super beautiful, topless women are just fighting for their lives.
Yeah. She just wants to dance.
She just... that, I think... and then the people who gave him the money for this movie might have all been a bunch of other 45-year-old white guys.
Yeah, definitely. You know, now that I think about it, and I never really compared this, but it's sort of an All About Eve story. And it's funny I didn't think about that before because All About Eve is one of my favorite classic films.
All About Eve, which I have seen but cannot remember the plot of.
Yeah, All About Eve, Betty Davis. And and other people.
Wait, that isn't about the sisters with the chair, with the stairs?
No.
Okay.
I think you're thinking of whatever happened to Baby Jane.
Yep,
Is that right?
That's what I'm thinking
that's
of.
What you're thinking
that's
of.
What I'm thinking of.
No, All About Eve is the story of success and a young woman who's not successful who wants that success and does what she needs to do to grab it. And that's basically what happens in Showgirls.
Right. But it is not executed with the same joie de vivre.
No.
Possibly.
Well, no,
as All About Eve.
Yeah. not quite. All About Eve, really, for those of you who've not seen it, one of the greatest scripts of all time. That script is phenomenal, and there are so many amazing lines of dialogue in that.
We own that movie. I will be watching that movie again.
You need to watch it again. It's worth watching every couple of years if you want. It's that good.
We might have to do. This is a great task of this following hour of this podcast.
What's that?
Is where we name the terrible movie.
Yeah.
And then we try to find the movie that they thought that they were making.
That's a great idea. That will be a challenge because I haven't thought that through
at all. But it's kind of fun that you found All About Eve in this conversation.
Now I feel like we're on a game show.
Well, now there's certainly a game mechanic going on.
And I'm getting points already.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win big.
But no, Showgirls is a delightful movie. With one caveat, you have to skip the violent rape scene. Since it is a drama, there is a violent rape scene in the movie.
Sure.
And it's not funny in the least, and you just need to skip it. Besides that, the movie is so
you have time
filled...
code? No.
It's probably a good hour into the movie. It's probably in the third act.
Okay.
Because usually at the end of the second act, it's you hit the low point, and the characters they don't know where the hell to go and what the hell's happening with their lives.
So let's rape somebody.
And then they get
That'll
raped.
Happen sometimes.
and then you move on.
You remember that movie? You will. John Travolta. White suit dancing.
Yeah, you're talking about Saturday Night Fever. Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever is a great movie, and it's so misogynistic. It is ridiculously misogynistic.
Gang rape scene. Never saw it when it first came out. They rape her on the Brooklyn Bridge. And so I saw it in a wacky kind of Rocky Horror Picture Show kind of way. Like they're like, we're going to show this. I brought my nephew. He was 11.
Let's have some fun.
And then
the first scene is like, hey, you just give me a blowjob.
Just do it.
Yeah. No,
and so it's an amazing film. I think it's actually a very good drama. And then it has a little bit of dancing in it. Very nice. And the soundtrack is lovely. If you like disco.
Oh, I don't remember the soundtrack.
Well, here's what happened. It spawned
the most popular soundtrack of all time, I think.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
And so, but I did not know. Like, I thought everyone said that it was this amazing, and there was always jokes about it and everything.
It's a funny little dancing movie.
It's
not.
So not.
No.
It is a tale as old as time. And that tale needs to be, I don't know, warned. You should warn people.
Yeah.
Because the tale you're talking about is that of violence and rape.
Yeah.
And so sad, too bad. So it's okay. My nephew's an old soul.
Yeah.
So he's in his 30s. He's fine. So that was what I was thinking. So, okay. So if people see Showgirls,
yes,
see it in a group.
Oh, absolutely. If you're drinkers, make a drinking game out of it.
Because what you like is how ridiculous it is.
It is so ridiculous. As long as your group is not afraid of a bunch of boobs, then go ahead and see that movie.
They will not bite. I promise.
Showgirls is probably my favorite terrible movie. Although there are some very, very close seconds, and they are nothing like Showgirls.
They are separate but equal, possibly.
Yes.
What's the next one you could think of?
Going to the diametrically opposed, the opposite of this film, I would pick Manos, The Hands of Fate, which is a 1966 film which was made in El Paso, written, directed, produced by, and starring a fertilizer salesman. Some details that when you see the movie, you have to research it to find out what the fuck is this and how was it made.
Right.
It is a no-budget piece of garbage that is so horrible. It's hilarious.
Fascinating
Yeah,
to you.
there are plenty of horrible movies
Right.
that are not hilarious.
Right.
Sometimes people will recommend like Samurai Cop, and I'll watch Samurai Cop, and I've seen it, and it's horrible, but to me, not hilarious.
Right.
It's just horrible, has some funny things, and you go like, wow, yeah, this is really bad. But Manos, The Hands of Fate is downright hilarious.
1966.
1966
A
film
fertilizer
made
salesman.
for, I don't know, maybe they spent $10,000 on it, as opposed to however many millions or tens of millions they spent on Showgirls.
And how did you find this movie?
Well,
What happened there?
languished in obscurity for years until Mystery Science Theater 3000 pulled it out and said, "Hey, look at this." Now, I know a lot of people are huge fans of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I like it, but frankly, I like to see the bad movies without the commentary.
I have had to let both Frank Conniff and Mary Jo Pehl, who I'm friends with, know that I don't like people talking during movies. Anyway,
yeah.
people love Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Well, here's the thing: for bad movies, it's important to talk during the movie.
But you want to live in the moment. You don't necessarily want to hear the.
I don't want to hear other people I don't know talking about the movie. I want my friends to talk about the movie
you wanna do it.
in the room where I'm sitting.
So, do you love the fact that Mystery Science Theater offers you these awesome movies?
Yes, there have been so many
It's a great
discoveries that have
syllabus.
resurfaced. Absolutely, and it's a way to let those films resurface and come out again. And
Now,
and
those
be
two I
released.
consider friends of mine. Those two peoples.
excellent peoples.
They're excellent peoples. I would sit in any room and have Frank Conniff and Mary Jo Pehl riff at anything.
That would be fine to be in the room with them.
Exactly.
I would much prefer that than to actually watch the
But-
show. No
but
offense to people who love Mystery Science Theater 3000.
At all. And what I do know is that they watch that movie dozens of times.
Yes.
And find the perfect place to put the line so that it's not over dialogue too much.
Absolutely.
And this type of thing. So good for them. But so that's where you heard about the movie and you're like, "Oh, I need to see this movie myself."
That is not where I heard about the
No.
movie, but researching it, I found out that that's how that movie was rescued. Because it was not available anywhere until they somehow found it. So thanks to them, thanks to Mystery Science Theater, they've pulled it back out, and it is it's so ridiculously bad, and all of the audio, all of the dialogue has been dubbed over very poorly. So when you watch the movie, the audio, the dialogue is clear and understandable. It just doesn't really match people's mouths very well, which is already that's funny.
Right.
And then one of my favorite things about it is the soundtrack is this random, out of place, really dated jazz music from the 60s. Just this, it does not match the picture at all.
Hands of Fate sounds like a Western.
Well, the funny thing is Manos, Hands of Fate. Manos, the Hands of Fate. Manos, apparently in Spanish, means hands.
Wait.
So the movie is Hands,
The Hands
the
of
Hands
Fate.
of Fate. Yes. Which is great. I don't know
That
if
is
that's correct.
kind of awesome.
I think that is correct. I think it is hands, though. I think that's the big deal. So this guy this fertilizer salesman who made this movie, from the way that I understand it, he made it on a dare. Like, I'm going to make a movie, you guys. You can't make a movie. Oh yeah, I'll show you. And he wrote and directed this piece of garbage, which is not. It's not told in a way that Hollywood feature films are normally told. The storytelling, nothing makes sense.
What?
It's not particularly linear. The shots don't make sense. It's shot, directed by this guy who maybe he thinks he's seen movies and he thinks he knows what they are.
We've all seen movies. Why couldn't we direct one?
you've got reaction shots in this movie from characters but you don't see what they're reacting to.
Oh my God.
And you've got these crazy jump cuts. There'll be a fight scene and then all of a sudden someone's lying down on the ground, but it's the same shot.
Right.
And it just, nothing makes sense.
Right.
And you've got performances. Oh my God. The performances, Jackie.
The acting.
Oh, it's delightful. It is so delightfully bad.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Showgirls has horrible, over-the-top melodramatic performances.
Right.
But it also has Kyle MacLachlan, who's,
Right.
perfectly respectable as an actor.
Sure.
And others.
And others.
This film does not.
There's nobody.
Nobody's good in this movie.
Oh my God.
And not only that, but you can tell that they all know they're in a bad movie because they're being directed to do things that make no sense whatsoever.
Right.
But yet they have to follow what the director says.
Right.
Now,
A tomato would never sit down.
Yes.
A tomato would never sit down.
Tootsie, thank you very much.
Tootsie, that's it. I did a night of vegetables. So it was a tour.
You were a tomato!
It's a tour de force. Anyway, so everybody's bad.
By the way, a story about that scene from
Yeah.
Tootsie. Dustin Hoffman and what's the director name? Sidney.
You're right.
So they did not get along. They did not get along.
Oh, really?
And apparently their relationship was a yelling relationship, and so it was Dustin Hoffman's idea to go ahead and have the director do that part. I can't remember his name. Sidney Pollack. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Sidney Pollack. Well played.
Yeah. So he did play that part, and he got to yell at Dustin Hoffman in that scene. They got to yell at each other.
Great.
Yeah, but they did
Cathartic.
not. They did not do much speaking to each other on that set, apparently.
Wow. Well, he really stuck the landing, Sidney Pollack, in that role then.
And you know what else I find disappointing is that I found out that Harold Ramis and Bill Murray's relationship fell apart when they were shooting Groundhog Day, which is another one of my favorite comedies.
Oh, that's great. That's a great movie.
A beautiful movie, and it ruined their relationship, and they apparently just hated each other while they were shooting it. And they were lifelong friends at that point.
Yeah. It's here's what I've always thought about lifelong friends.
Yes, ma'am.
There's not enough money in the world to break that. So calm down.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's
and when I say that, I've never been offered $10 million to lose a friendship, but I'd like to think that I wouldn't take it.
I will give you $10 million right now to lose your best friend.
To lose Maria Bamford as my best friend?
Is she your best friend?
I think so.
I'll give you $10 million if you push her off this boat.
Nope.
Good.
Not happening.
Good. She's one of my favorite comments, so I'm glad.
Look, I rose to the occasion, you guys.
I'm really glad you did. I'm glad you did. And also because I don't know where I would get the $10 million.
Right, and Maria would write me a check for 11. What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bidding war.
Can I just say it was a dream come true for me, not only to have you on my show here on the cruise ship,
right,
but to have Maria on my morning show.
That very fun. I always want to say Yeshmin.
No, it's Yeshman.
It's Yeshman.
Yeah.
Are you a Yeshman? Is that what it's?
Am I a Yeshman?
A yes man.
Oh, a yes man. No, and neither is Yeshman.
Yeah, neither is Yeshman.
He is the opposite.
Yeshman's morning show is hilarious and weird, and I bet people could see some of it.
Yeah, not on the Mediocre Films channel, but on youtube.com/Yeshman, Yeshmin.
Why wouldn't they?
He's got his own channel, and last year's morning shows are on there, including your episode from last year.
Yep.
And within the next couple of months, all of the episodes from this show will be up there.
All right.
I'll start uploading them actually very soon.
So what is the plot of Manos of Hands, the Hands of Fate? What is the plot?
It is about a man and wife. And by the way, the writer of the film, director, he's the man, he's the husband, and he is, he looks like he's about 55 or 60, and he has cast a young, beautiful woman as his wife.
Why would he?
So they look like father and daughter. It's weird and creepy. And lovely redhead young woman, and she probably is half his age or less. Right,
early 20s.
Yeah. And so, they're driving, and they basically get lost, and they come upon this. They drive past a couple who are making out in a convertible Thunderbird or something, and that couple says, "Why? Where are those people going? No, that road doesn't lead anywhere." It's just terrible dialogue.
And then they start macking again.
Yeah,
yep,
and in fact, they're macking that night, and then you see them again the next morning. They're still parked and macking. Yeah.
12 hours later.
Yeah, like again, nothing in the movie makes sense.
It's like, do you have any chapstick?
Yeah. So basically, the couple and their young daughter, they have about a 7-year-old daughter, who I think is dubbed by a woman, not a little girl, which is very strange. Mommy, help! It's weird. It's possible that it's a little girl. It sounds like a woman doing a little girl's voice, which is so great. So they ended up getting stranded and finding a house, which is either a house or something like a hotel or something. And there is a weird caretaker there named Torgo. Torgo is his name, and he is oddly disabled. He shakes, and he has this big, weird, demonic-looking staff, and he can barely walk. And the husband, who is mean to everyone for no reason, including his wife and including this guy, this caretaker Torgo, who he's never met, says, "We need a place to stay. Get my bags and bring them in." And the man is disabled, so he slowly wobbles over to the car and he picks up these heavy bags, while this weird jazz music goes. I'm telling you, it is the craziest. It makes no sense. Oh, but of course Torgo has said, "You can't stay because the master would not approve." "Well, we're staying." "Okay, you can stay, but the master would not approve." Then you find out the master, it's this demonic thing, and he's got all these wives, and it's just the plot gets convoluted. Here's the thing about bad movies, and Manos, The Hands of Fate is no exception. Usually the first 30 minutes are the most fun.
Okay.
After that, sometimes you lose interest a little bit. With Manos, the first 30 minutes, or 40 or 45, are brilliant. And it sort of tapers off after that.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in the second half,
but for the most part, it's the setup until the demon. Tell me, does the husband die?
Listen, I don't want to ruin the end.
Spoiler alert, you guys, 1966. Just to let you know.
I'm not doing it.
You're not doing it.
I'm not. But
you guys are going to have to Wikipedia that one.
Here's one detail that I will ruin.
Okay.
The master has many wives.
Yes.
And they are all, quote unquote, sexy. These are attractive young women,
right,
who are dressed in the least sexy outfit. They're in sort of this muslin thing that's draped over them, sort of see-through. And then as you see through it, they have on the largest underwear ever made.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, just these huge...
He must have got, like, granny panty kind of?
Granny panties and these, like, 1950s style pointed bras.
Must have got him in bulk. That's what I'm thinking. Here's the thing about a guy like the guy who wrote, directed, and starred in Manos, The Hands of Fate. That guy knows a guy. That guy knows a guy gets you underwear in bulk.
He probably bartered for some fertilizer.
He's right. It was that's a fertilizer salesman. He knows where to get a deal on bulk underwear.
Here's another thing. Here's probably why he got some deals. One thing that I heard about him is that he would make deals with people for the movie. He goes like, "I'll give you 5% of the movie. I'm going to give you 7.5% of the movie." And when everybody got together at the cast party, they added it up and they said, "Oh, he's sold at least 300% of the movie."
Wow, that's a classic sales guy kind of thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the movie was so bad, everyone was like, didn't want it. Didn't want the 5%.
No. But from what I understand, in El Paso, Texas, where nothing else happens, no offense if you live in El Paso,
right?
But I've driven through there. Nothing happens in El Paso.
You've been
there. Boy, am I going to get emails now from people in El Paso.
Exactly.
Apparently, the premiere of this film was a big deal. And... I don't know, the mayor or whoever showed up, and they had a big, the lights.
Right.
And
look what's set here, you guys.
Hey, look, we shot this movie.
The fertilizer sailor.
Yeah.
The seller has got. He's going to put us on the map.
Right, but apparently, even then, at the initial screening with the cast and crew present, the audience just howled with laughter. They realized that it was just the biggest piece of shit they'd ever seen. And I cannot recommend this movie more highly to people.
My ad. I'm about to do an ad. I'm Jackie Cation, and this is an ad for Stamps.com. Stamps.com is online postage demand. You can get postage on demand with Stamps.com. You print real U.S. postage for any letter or any package right from your home or office, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever your computer's on. Stamps.com will even send you a digital scale so you can weigh your letters and packages. You click print and mail, and you're done. It's really good if you have a small business. Just any small business that you work out of your home. And it's incredibly convenient. I've been using it, and it's been great, actually. I'm really busy, so I've been relying on Stamps.com to print out shipping labels and send out merch, and it couldn't be easier. And I've worked out a special offer with Stamps.com for any of my listeners that includes a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale without long-term commitment. You sign up. You go to Stamps.com. You click on the microphone on the top of the homepage and type in JK for Jackie-cation. Stamps.com, enter JK. Then what happens is you sign up for the monthly. It's $15.99, about $16 a month. And the first 4 weeks is trial. If you like it and keep it, they will charge you for that first month. But it's a great thing if you have a small business, and it saves so much time. So if you want to do it, go to Stamps.com and enter JK. Let's get back to the show. Did you ever see Hamlet 2?
No.
Hamlet
I don't,
2.
The list is always expanding. Tell me about Hamlet 2.
Well, Hamlet 2 is really 2 movies. It is a movie of a sad sack high school musical teacher who they're going to discontinue his musical program because he's a terrible theater teacher and is having some trouble also in his personal life. The second half of the movie is about how he has written a play to save the theatrical program. And the name of that play...
Can I guess?
Uh-huh.
As You Like It Too.
Hamlet 2!
Oh, okay.
Oh, so close.
I was very close.
And one of my favorite lines from the second half of that movie is the greatest movie ever made. The first half of that movie is something to sit through. The second half of that movie is Hamlet fucking 2. And they said, doesn't everyone die at the end of Hamlet? And he says, and I quote, I have a device. And that device, by the way, is a time machine. And Jesus. Those are his 2 devices that save Hamlet 2. And that movie is entirely set in the town of Tucson, Arizona. And I don't know what movie they were trying to make. Because these are, I cannot remember the name of any of the actors, but these are famous people and very successful humans, have made a film that I love half of. And that's kind of okay to some extent. Like one of my brothers is also a different brother than the brother I was earlier talking about.
Oh my gosh, how many brothers do you have?
I have 4 brothers.
Oh, that's too many.
Second, you're not wrong. The second of my brothers said to me, one time, because he loves a bad movie, but he has a theory that movies aren't bad. He said if there's one good scene in a movie, that's a good movie. I will watch that movie.
Wow.
That is a low bar. That is a low bar.
It certainly is.
Rivaled only by Joseph Scrimshaw. I don't know if you know Joseph Scrimshaw.
Of course I do.
There you go. He did an episode of The Dork Forest where he defended the prequels of Star Wars. And it was a comparable kind of defense. He was talking about how the scene with Darth Maul made the first prequel completely worthwhile to watch. And I was like, you were 11 also. That also helps. I'm never going to see Manos, The Hands of Fate. You should know that.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I know it. It's,
you would enjoy it. You need to trust me that you would enjoy it.
That Manos, The Hands of Fate is something I would enjoy.
It is hysterical.
It is hysterical.
It's really, really funny.
Excellent. All right.
It's funny in the way that, and I didn't choose this as one of my top 5, but it's kind of funny in the way that Elvis's movie Clambake is funny. Clambake, my favorite Elvis movie of all time. You gotta love Elvis movies because
I love all Elvis movies, and to imply that they are not good. Allow me to storm out.
They are remarkable, but have you seen Clambake?
I have seen Clambake.
Clambake is the greatest.
It's a great movie.
It's the greatest because it's the worst.
Do you think it is worse than the one where he's in Florida and they're squatting and he falls in love with his sister? Come on.
Falls in love with his sister. I can't remember what that one is.
Stepsister, but sister.
What was the name of that movie?
Don't know.
Okay.
They're down in Florida. We don't have the internet.
If only someone listening could inform you.
Jackie at JackieCation.com. I own most of Elvis's movies.
Oh, that's great.
That's because I love all Elvis movies.
Clambake is hilarious. You know, we could talk about Clambake because since you know it so well, Clambake is hilarious and wonderful from the opening shot when Elvis is driving down the highway, which is just a green screen shot of him in a convertible because it's always a convertible. Mm-hmm. And he's driving and his hands aren't really doing anything on the wheel. And you could tell that the director said, wave at someone who's on the side of the street. And he just sort of waves indiscriminately to nowhere, just not even looking at anything. And then there's a cutaway of a farmer on the side of the street. And it is a ridiculous opening shot.
Because if I remember correctly, he's going far too fast to wave at anybody.
No, yeah, absolutely. And they're gone. That quickly.
Zoom.
Yeah.
And he's like, the farmer would have been enormously irritated because he would have raised a dust cloud that would have drowned the farmer.
Exactly.
So,
Clambake is amazing because it's called Clambake, and the scene in which there actually is a clambake makes up maybe 4 minutes of the movie.
Right.
The rest of the movie, not at all about a clambake.
Nope, not at all.
But there is a song
called Clambake.
Clambake, gonna have a clambake.
That's it.
You know, my favorite song in that movie is the blatant ripoff of High Hopes. Do you remember that song?
High Hopes.
All right, so blatant ripoff.
How's it go?
It's 'cause you gotta have confidence. A little thing called confidence.
Oh my God, I do remember that.
Oh, the whole everything about Clambake is brilliant.
Let it be known, for the record, that I was 11 when I loved all the Elvis movies, and it's hard to let go of that.
Sure.
As you grow up and you think to yourself, look how handsome he is. Look how well he sings.
He is impossibly handsome.
He's impossibly handsome.
And with a face like that, he would never get unhandsome. I mean, he would never grow up
and
wait a minute.
What just happened?
You know, he actually
something went horribly awry. Have you ever been to the Graceland?
I have never been to the Graceland. You know, they just call it Graceland. They don't call it the Graceland.
It's better if you call it the Graceland accidentally because it implies a gravitas that, you know, he's buried there.
Yeah.
And,
I would hope he is.
Well, and it would be a beautiful house if he had not been in charge of decorating it.
Wow.
And because it's just it's about the size of a current McMansion. Is what it is. It's probably 4,500 square feet, which is too big for people who don't have servants, and not big enough for Elvis's for what we know of Elvis.
Right.
And but it's essentially it's a Hearst Castle like experience. In it's like, have you ever been to Hearst Castle?
I have been to Hearst Castle.
So Hearst Castle is essentially, he had too much money.
Yes.
He would travel and he would see things and say, "Can I have that?" And they'd say, "This is a church from the 1200s. We were going to keep our pews."
Ship them to me.
Ship them to me. Here's some money. And they were like, "Okay.
All right. We'll get more pews.
We'll get more pews. We'll just get Amazon Prime." Yeah. And but that's how he decorated his home. Elvis did. He was constantly being called upon to have a zebra skin. So and you're like, boo.
I don't want that wall to just be nothing but peanut butter sandwiches.
Exactly. Oh my God. I just want one entire shelf of blenders. And stop. Okay, so
oh goodness.
To not go away from Clambake, to go away from Clambake, what's the next one? What else would you?
Well, you know, I think that a top 5 horrible movie list would be incomplete without Mac and Me. Mac and Me.
What is that?
It's a film from the 80s, maybe around 84, 85. It is an E.T. ripoff. It is a very blatant ripoff of E.T. the Extraterrestrial. In case you didn't know which E.T. I was talking about.
Phone home. Is Mac like a robot?
No, Mac is the extraterrestrial. He is the alien in this movie. Mac.
Who is involved with the movie Mac and Me? Not Spielberg.
No, and I don't know, and I can't do the research here, so I don't know. All I know is that it is the cheapest cheesiest, laziest ripoff of E.T. Like, obviously, E.T. came out and they said, oh, we have to get a movie in the theaters next month that people confuse with E.T. and you feel like they wrote it and they shot it in a week or two, and then they released it a week or two later. That's what it feels like.
Right.
And amazingly, somehow they managed to get a bunch of money from McDonald's, apparently.
Yeah.
Because this fucking movie has a McDonald's commercial in the middle of it. Smack dab in the middle of it, there's a bunch of kids just dancing on the tables at McDonald's.
Wow. And McDonald's pictured completely and fully. That's what paid for this movie.
It's all about how great McDonald's is. It's right in the middle of this movie. It's the weirdest thing.
Because does the alien, much like the Reese's Pieces thing, fall in love with McDonald's, kind of?
Honestly, it's been
compelling about
it has
that
been a
movie?
number of years since I have seen Mac and Me, but here's what I recall. Mac, if Mac actually is the name of the alien instead of the kid.
Me?
I would guess that
Please
Mac
don't
actually
name
is
your
the,
alien me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It could be, it could be from the point of view of the alien saying, like, this movie's about Mac and me.
That actually sounds like a better
Yeah.
movie than
Yeah.
is happening.
So, E.T., they had a nice animatronic puppet.
Yep.
They put some money into that. Mm-hmm. There's no money in Mac and Me. So they just had this rubber puppet who would just jiggle. And there would be someone who would be below it or off screen, just poking it, jiggling. They just jiggle it a little bit. There's a scene where, there's some chase scene, and Mac is, the alien is in the back of the van, and he's just jiggling all around. It's the most ridiculous thing. Mac and Me is another movie that I guarantee you would enjoy because it's downright funny.
Yeah, and it sounds light enough. Is he trying to get Mac back to his home planet?
I don't remember.
Fair enough.
It's not even important. But I will tell you this. Have you seen when Paul Rudd goes on, and I guess it's Conan, every time he goes on and he is shilling his latest feature film.
Sure.
He says, all right, I'm going to show a clip from the movie. Mm-hmm. And he introduces the clip. And then they always end up showing a clip from Mac and Me where this disabled kid in a wheelchair rolls down a hill and flies off a cliff into some water below.
No.
Yeah.
Was that Paul Rudd?
No, but Paul Rudd always shows that instead of a clip from his film, and I think it's when he goes on Conan. And it's very, very funny.
Because it sounds like kind of a dad joke, where you're like, funny, not funny, not funny, oh, funny again.
Yeah.
Funny, not funny, not funny, not funny, funny again.
It's
outstanding in our field.
It's tremendously funny. The movie, again, it's what it has in common with Manos the Hands of Fate is that there is little to no budget.
Right.
Much more of a budget than Manos the Hands of Fate.
Oh, yeah.
But not enough to make anything resembling a good movie.
Nope.
And obviously shot in such a hurry that, details don't matter.
Not as much.
I don't really have anything else to say about Mac and Me because it's been so many years since I've seen it. But all I remember is laughing hysterically.
There's a movie called Reckless.
Reckless?
Daryl Hannah.
That might be on my list.
It could be. Aiden, maybe, somebody? I feel
Quinn.
like...
Aiden Quinn.
Might be. Don't know.
Let's just say it's Aiden Quinn.
There was a movie about wrestlers with Matthew Modine?
Okay. Definitely Matthew Modine.
And Demi Moore?
Yeah, for sure. I
I think Reckless was supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
And Reckless was the quick knockoff.
Yeah, knockoff movies are really common.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're as common as they used to be, but certainly in the time of video rentals, when you could make a knockoff film and then make the VHS video box look something like the actual movie. I mean, that's exactly what they were going for with Mac and Me.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the cover, the poster, it looks exactly like the E.T. poster.
You know when you look up something on Netflix and they don't have it streaming, but then they suggest 5 other less qualified movies that are kind of like the one you wanted?
Yeah, which often are barely like the one you want.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely. This is not what I was looking for, it turns out. It's but I'm trying to think of, I'm trying to find movies that I thoroughly enjoy that follow this criteria. And I think Reckless was one of those movies that if I could have sat through it, would have been that type of thing. And then Tank Girl is, I think, the one that I love the most. It's a terrible movie that I love the most. Yeah.
Lori Petty? Is that Lori Petty?
Yep. And somebody else famous.
Yeah. Oh, right. Somebody else famous. I love that person.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
And there was Tank Girl and Jet Girl, and they spent all of their money on the tank and the jet. And then it's like LL Cool J plays a kangaroo man.
Wow.
And they didn't have any money for the kangaroo outfits. So there's good times there.
I'm adding that right now onto my phone because I need to see Tank Girl again. I'm constantly adding more bad movies and recommendations to my list.
And I might have who played the kangaroo wrong. I just remember a hip hop artist from the 80s and 90s. So that's all I got going on.
That's great.
Could be Ice-T.
That's great.
Could be Ice Cube. We don't know. It could be Eric B. and Rakim together standing on each other's shoulders. Unlikely.
Could it be Kid and Play?
Might be. That'd be a super tall kangaroo, you guys.
You know, one movie I want to see again is House Party because that's the Kid and Play movie.
Right.
Because I remember it actually being a pretty damn good movie.
I heard it was super fun.
Yeah, like it's a really fun movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would still hold up today.
Right.
But at the time when it came out, I was so surprised at how delightful it was.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
All right. You know that we have like 15 minutes left.
And we've only covered 3 movies.
3 films. Let's go to the next one.
All right. Here's one that's very obvious, but it has to be on the list. The Room by Tommy Wiseau.
I've never even heard of it. What is it? The Room?
Jesus. How could you never have heard of it?
I don't know. There's a room.
Have you heard of the movie The Disaster Artist that James Franco made that came out a couple of months ago?
I've heard of James Franco.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
He was nominated, maybe even won something at the Golden Globes.
He's one of these guys that does a lot of sit-ups, right? And then he's
James Franco?
Yeah.
I think he probably does some sit-ups.
He's one of the sit-up actor guys, right?
Might do an occasional pull-up.
Right. There seems to be. It's like a poor man's Ryan Gosling in my head.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Sure. Let's go with that.
I don't know.
Well, so
Ryan, by the way,
artist,
you got to be the rich man in that analogy.
Right. So The Room is a very well-known horrible movie that was made, I don't know, around 99 or something. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But it was such.
Is it scary?
No.
It sounds.
It's a drama. It is a very serious drama about angst and relationships and suicide.
Oh, for or against?
It ends with a suicide. Sorry for the spoiler
alert.
It's is written and directed by a maniac named Tommy Wiseau, who somehow is this millionaire. Nobody knows. He's an enigma because he's famous for this movie, but he's also famous for the fact that no one knows where he's actually from. He has an accent that you can't place, which sounds like it could be.
How do you spell Wiseau?
Wiseau, Wiseau, I believe.
Well, Kaneki, looks like you got a lot to offer a girl, which is Rizzo.
So
it's a drama.
He's a maniac, and he spent $4 million on this movie. Who knows where he gets his money? That's the other mystery about him. No one knows where he's from or where he gets his money.
Okay.
But yeah, Tommy Wiseau made a horrible movie with unknown actors, starring himself. He wrote and directed it himself.
Oh, I see a pattern. This is The Room, 1999-ish.
Yeah, something like that. And when he made it, he not only put all the money into the movie, but he also put a bunch of money into putting a billboard up on, I believe it was Highland Avenue or La Brea in Los Angeles, that just was a black and white poster with his disturbingly horrible face that says, The Room, for private screenings, call this number. And it was a number that apparently, if you called it, he would answer.
Oh, my God.
And he would set up a screening for you. Now, word got out about how horrible this movie was, and it became a midnight movie phenomenon in the vein of Rocky Horror, where people would go and they would yell at the screen, and it would be, a Mystery Science Theater type thing where people had their lines and they knew exactly when to say them.
Yep.
And the thing that I would always...
it was a triumph of bad movies is what it really was.
Oh, it was an absolute triumph, and it went from being a dramatic failure when he had its premiere, because it did have a premiere. Okay. Failed dramatically.
Sure.
No one was interested in this movie. To actually a great success, and probably by this point, with all of its DVD sales
Yeah.
and screenings all over the place, it's probably made money.
It's kind of like Showgirls, maybe. Because Showgirls is super popular for being terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that costs so much money. I can't imagine that Showgirls has made its money back.
Got its money back?
But if The Room cost $4 million, which is what it's been rumored to have cost, then I imagine it's made its $4 million back.
Fair enough.
And more.
The Billboard thing reminds me of a very mediocre. Not mediocre films. I'm, by the way, talking to Greg Benson of At Mediocre Films.
That's me.
That's you. And so there was
Do
a
you
movie,
say that just in case people skip like 40 minutes into the podcast
Maybe.
and then start it?
Plus, I'm doing ads now.
Okay, got
it. And poor Rangers are just like, because I'm supposed to keep them, they have to be at least 30 seconds. but there's so many talking points sometimes with the ad copy. I'm like, it's just going to be 2 minutes. And
do that on purpose.
I try to make it into 1 minute, but it's hard to get all the talking points, and they've given me a free protein bar. So you got to talk it up, right? Anyway, but the movie that reminds me of is a little known, very mediocre, who is in John Cryer. That's who I'm thinking of.
Who was in John Cryer?
Who was in John Cryer?
I don't know who's been in John Cryer.
I hope that other guy, Martin Sheen's son, Charlie Sheen, has not been in John Cryer.
I certainly hope
because I've
not.
always enjoyed John Cryer, but I liked him from this movie when he played a 16-year-old photography student in a movie called No Small Affair.
Oh, I've never seen No Small Affair.
Demi Moore, again, Demi Moore, you guys.
Good old Demi Moore.
Pre-boob job.
Not interested.
I think she got it in the middle of the movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah, shrewd move. So Demi Moore, John Cryer, he has a crush on her. He puts her phone number and picture up on billboards all over whatever, probably mid-sized factory town that they were supposed to be set in. And then she got a lot of gross phone calls because she was just a pretty picture of a girl with a phone number and no other information. Is that what Mr. Wizzo was doing?
He was really just trying to promote his own movie. I mean, the guy...
So did he have the name of the movie? Or was
yeah.
it just a picture of his face?
Oh, it's his face and the movie. And
there we go.
And whatever the tagline was, let's just say the tagline was a very serious drama.
The Room. What was in The Room? What was The Room about?
Just a bunch of people. The Room is another movie that doesn't make a lick of sense, and it has all these plots that start and they don't go anywhere, these subplots.
Yeah.
And it's just about this angst-filled relationship between the character that Tommy Wiseau plays and his girlfriend, and he literally rips the line, "You're tearing me apart." He says the famous line, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." He has the word Lisa at the end to make it different.
Has he ever thought about screaming at the sky? The word no?
He definitely does do some screaming at the sky in this.
Oh, my God.
And he throws a football around, and the guy doesn't know how to throw a football. It's delightful in every way. But this is also a movie I highly recommend you just go to one of those midnight screenings and see with the audience.
Right. Because it's a community experience at this point.
It also has a lot of shots of a strange picture of spoons, which is in the room. There's a picture of spoons. So people bring plastic spoons to the screening, and whenever you see spoons on the screen, you throw spoons at the screen, which is a lot of fun.
It does sound exactly like a community experience.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's even fun just to watch on DVD with friends.
With friends.
But it is a tremendous experience, and it has such a horrible and disturbing sex scene in it. It's just gross. Yeah. Because, frankly, he's a gross guy.
Yeah.
And the woman that he has the sex scene with, she's, nothing special. And so they have a really gross sex scene together.
Right. It's not attractive people making sweet love. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's right. And that comes about 10 or 15 minutes into the movie. And then it's repeated again about 20 minutes later. The same scene.
Wait, well, they didn't reshoot it?
Nope. Same scene, same shots.
Shot for shot.
They just repeat it. Later in the film, it is the weirdest thing. And that is the point.
He might have just been psyched with how he looked on that scene.
Could be. That's the point in the movie when you see that sex scene for the second time.
Yeah.
At the midnight screening. That's the point when the entire audience gets up and walks out and goes to the concession stand. Like every single person gets up and walks out.
Oh my God. As sort of a, yes, that is also a statement.
There's no reason to sit through that twice.
Twice.
It's hard enough to sit through it once.
Wow.
It's the perfect time for your bathroom break.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And then, okay, so I'm going to skip to the last movie.
Okay,
that I
please
picked.
do, because we're here we are.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
and I have very little to say about it because there's already so much that's said about this movie. But
It's really been covered.
Troll 2 has to go on the list.
Troll 2?
Troll 2 is in my top 5. It's
You have a toddler. When did Troll 2 come out? Oh, wait.
Jeez. When
I'm
did
thinking of
Troll 2?
Trolls. An animated show.
No, not the animated. No, there's no S on this troll. No,
It's one troll.
Troll is a film that was made, I don't know when they were made, early 80s, and then maybe Troll 2 came out mid 80s. I would guess it's mid 80s. It's a strange thing. It's about goblins who eat people.
Really?
There are no trolls in the movie, Troll
No.
2. No. And it is a film that has the worst special effects of all time. Now, I don't feel I need to say...
It's called Trolls, but it's a troll.
It's called Troll 2.
2.
Is the sequel to Troll. The movie Troll is also awful. But Troll... There's something very special about Troll 2.
Okay.
All the pieces came together to make it an absolute atrocity.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's about goblins, not trolls.
That's correct. And there is a documentary out about it called Best Worst Movie, where you can find out an awful lot about Troll 2, which is why I feel I don't need to say too much about it, because it's also worth watching the movie Best Worst Movie.
Right. And these sound like terrible movies. You're not wrong.
No, these are all horrible movies, and they're all very different.
Right. They're different genres, different, almost, yeah, because Showgirls, when did that come out? That was in the 2000s.
Oh, I would say that was in the 90s.
Oh, you think 90s as well?
I think it was in the 90s, yeah. Yeah, it was probably in the mid-90s.
But this has spanned decades, this list.
Absolutely. And we didn't even go back to, the Ed Wood movies, the famous Ed Wood movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space and Glenn or Glenda. I mean, these are wonderful bad movies. And then there's even, you go back further to the 30s, and a movie like Reefer Madness is hilarious. It's not all hilarious. That's why it didn't make my top. But that's the earliest terrible movie. And I'd say that the first time I ever saw a movie and realized that I was enjoying a really bad campy movie, was in the early '80s when I saw Mommy Dearest. Mommy Dearest.
Another great melodramatic.
Yes.
Drama.
Faye Dunaway is so over the top as Joan Crawford. She is ridiculous. And for a while, they were giving that the Rocky Horror treatment, where people would go to the theater with wire hangers.
Right, because there was a wire hanger scene.
Yeah.
I've never seen it myself.
Oh, it's kind of delightful.
Okay.
Yeah, she's way over the top.
Right.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
It's a crazy movie. But there's there have been so many movies through the decades that that deserve to be on this list, but I had to narrow it. You said narrow it down to 5.
I did say narrow, because I knew. Here's the thing about when people have a list of movies, or books, or anything, it's usually 5, and because for some reason that works out, for 1 hour of the Dork Forest.
And we've probably just talked for an hour, haven't we?
We're at 59 minutes and 35 seconds.
Jeez.
I love the silence right there.
Oh, I've ran out of things to say.
It's a real clock eater, that silence. Greg Benson, you guys, youtube.com/mediocre films has a lot of funny films that are funny. And then
Thank you.
Yeshman has his own YouTube channel entirely.
youtube.com/Yeshman, YESHMIN. And that is where you will see Yeshman interview the one and the only Jackie Cation.
Thank you very much for plugging me on my own show, Greg Benson. Thank you for doing the show. And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh, my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?